As we continue getting more and more new exotics added to this game, it becomes easy to overlook a lot of them, especially when they're on a subclass that you might not be that accustomed to, or even more so a class in general. And for that reason, I do think the Witch Queen's Osmiomancy Gloves are criminally underrated. And I made a 180 to get to this opinion. I was not a fan at first. So you got Fervid Cold Snaps. Your Cold Snap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impact, and the Cold Snap itself travels further, I think faster too. It's weird. Now while in PvE this might give a lot of energy. In PvP you'll kind of see it's not much at all, but anything helps, and that's not really the main reason to be using these gauntlets anyway. But it also gives you energy if you throw the projectile itself at somebody and it hits them before it even becomes a tracking grenade, right? Then it could track them and hit them again, and you can get twice as much energy. Don't count on that happening, but it can happen. Let's take a look at the do's and don'ts of using these gauntlets. First of all, grenade kickstart, don't use it ever. It only works when you have one charge of something. If you have two charges, kickstart mods do nothing. Run double bomber on your class item for even more grenades. And always have Whisper of Torment on. And I would never recommend taking off Ice Flare bolts. About half of these clips have me using Glacial Harvest, and the other half Frost Pulse. I think I prefer Frost Pulse a little bit more because you can do funny things like this. Plus it lets every single one of your abilities freeze people. Never use Bleak Watcher with it, because then why you even have the gauntlets equipped if you're going to be using them for turrets? I guess you could have two turret charges, but they charge so slowly. And again, Glacial Harvest is good, but you're not really using it for the melee energy, so you're going to be wanting to use it with Whisper of Rhyme, which takes up on their fragment slot, and maybe even something like Whisper of Conduction too. For the most part, another non-negotiable should be Whisper of Fissures. This makes it so when you shatter those targets that you're freezing all the time, it will have much greater crowd control and also be able to easily shatter people around them. Create some cool moments. Hedrons is nice, just pretty much maximizes all of your stats, makes it much easier to follow up, to get out of there. I like Hedrons a lot. And the last one, I just kind of swap a lot between. Usually I try to stay on chains, gives the plus 10 recovery, but it also compounds with something like Hedrons to give you a little bit more survivability when you're surrounded by all these targets that you're freezing. Oh, and a quick note, rending is alright. One thing you should know, it does not apply to special weapons. It should say kinetic primary weapons. It has to be a kinetic and a primary, so yeah. Now freezing is pointless if you can't follow up and kill the target that's frozen. The easiest way to do that is with a melee, which will instantly kill them, but that's not always an option. So what are some weapons you want to pair with this? Well, as you've been seeing, fusions are great. A lot of people run shotguns with them. I just don't like running shotguns, so I prefer fusions. But pretty much any special weapon will destroy a frozen target. They have a huge damage bonus. As for exotic weaponry, let's start with the specials. We'll start with Dead Messenger. It's easy to get. You got a mission. You could farm for it. I don't know why you'd need to farm for it. I don't know why I said that. It's just a really good wave frame, and it leaves them one shot when they're frozen, so you could just pop them in the head with your hand cannon or whatever. Extremely easy, extremely safe, and extremely annoying. If you want to go the kinetic route for a grenade launcher, I had a lot of fun, surprisingly, with Witherhorde. Just the idea of freezing them and then just shooting the Witherhorde at them. They rarely would escape, and it was just really funny too. And I've always loved Witherhorde. It has auto-loading holster with Catalyst. Yeah, it was oddly satisfying. It wouldn't always kill them. Sometimes they could escape, especially the hunters. They would just jump out or dodge or whatever, but it's fun. The last special weapon I want to talk about is the Halo Magnum. Probably weren't expecting to see this on the list. It's surprisingly good, doing a little over 40 damage to the head when the target is frozen, because it does have that special weapon bonus, but it can melt them, and I was having a lot of fun, even on a small map like Anomaly. I felt confident in my duels, and also it's just like a better primary. You could kill people so fast with those triple headshots if your aim is on point. The only weird primary I have to talk about here is Malfeasance. You might be a little shocked about that, but I've always had a nice place in my heart for Malfeasance. It was for a long time my most viewed video, so I decided to try it out, thinking when you hit those 5 shots, even if they're frozen, they're gonna die from the taking slugs. Plus, you can challenge people from far away. That's just a Malfeasance thing that has nothing to do with your stasis, but you don't even need the fragment for enhanced primary kinetic damage, because Malfeasance will just kill them in those 5 shots anyway. Besides what I'm gonna get to next, and the Halo Magnum, this was following that for my favorite one to run with. I don't know why, and it's definitely not going to be for everyone, but it is a 180. That's the main reason why it's not going to be for everybody. And I don't really have anything more to say about it. It's solid. And of course, you can't forget DMT. My favorite loadout so far has just been the classic DMT and likely suspect fusion rifle. I don't even run Whisper of Rending for enhanced DMT damage against frozen targets, because the fusion rifle can handle it 98% of the time. It is incredibly potent, incredibly strong, and I still think DMT is probably the best primary weapon in the game, at least on mouse and keyboard. We got all the weapons out of the way, we got the basic talk out of the way. I want to talk to you about some of the quirks with this. First of all, the most important one. When you die, it seems like most of the time, if not all the time, your second grenade charge is completely depleted. Bungie knows about it, they're working on a fix, but right now, it sucks. For some more Shadebinder things in general, I was gonna say tips, but these aren't tips. Sometimes your abilities will hit them and not freeze them. Look at this hunter. Explain to me how he's in a dodge and jumping around and frozen at the same time. I don't know. Explain to me why this melee hits him, does damage, and does not freeze him. If you think that's a weird thing, here it is again. It's not uncommon. Or it's kind of uncommon, but not uncommon enough. Sometimes your cold snaps don't even know if they froze them or not. If you can look at this clip and explain to me what the fuck just happened, I will sacrifice my first and second born children to you. You can do whatever you want with them. I don't even care. The Shadebinder Super, Winter's Wrath, no one calls it that, is the most boring super in the game to play. I'm okay with it though, because it is also possibly the best roaming super in the game. But you have no enhanced movement, you just float around, you shoot, you wait for your auto tracking things to hit them, and then you right click. You just left click and right click. You don't even aim, just left click and right click. But I mean, look at this. Look at this Titan in this stupid bubble. Void 3.0, my anus. Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger takes what he wants. The boring nature of this super, compounded with the possibility that your abilities just won't do anything. Somehow the freezing rift is the most consistent out of any of the others. The sweet, sweet thrill and enjoyment that comes from making people fall off the map while frozen, it trumps all else. Everything else that's bad about this subclass. And it makes you smile, not just on the outside, but on the inside too. It makes you want to play just one more game on Shadebinder. Well, this video took a turn. It started as a typical, I guess, exotic build video, and now I feel like I'm entering a philosophical tunnel, analyzing not just the ins and outs of this game, but even our own brains, and why you enjoy the things you enjoy. Why is it so fun just immobilizing these enemies, and then just gunning them down in cold blood? I couldn't tell you, but it is what it is. Or as a strange foreign kid from a country I've never heard of once whispered in my ear junior year in my trigonometry class, it do be what it doobie doobie do. I suppose he's correct. I'm not entirely sure what that means, and I do wonder where he is right now. Alright, you caught me. I have been stalling for time a little bit because I ran out of things to say and not clips to play. So I guess that's gonna do it for today. The sky is gray. If you found today's video helpful at all, a like is greatly appreciated, and a subscription is even more greatly appreciated if you're picking up what I'm laying down. But hey, maybe you're in a different mood. You want to see some real life shenanigans. I've got a vlog channel, Vlog 007. The James Bond number just went up. Caitlin and I got arrested on the Santa Monica Pier. That's pretty cool, right? It's totally not even clickbait. You know, we got hookers in cars, we've got animals on farms, we've got surprises galore. You know, I got strangers, a whole collection of them to set off fireworks. And Spider-Man. What more could you want? Of course, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm not going to force anything upon you, so I love you either way. And goodbye.